Welcome to the show. I'm having my mug of coffee this morning. Yeah, it's half decaf, half regular. You don't care. You're here to talk college football. But anyway, we got some big games coming up. We have Miami at Florida State this Saturday. And then an interesting one, Vanderbilt at Alabama. A lot of people are paying attention to this game because Vanderbilt is undefeated going to Tuscaloosa after last year. And then we have some surprise games like Virginia's ranked number 24 in the country. They're playing at Louisville. We're going to talk about the big games and then some of these games kind of like that one that you could overlook. First, welcome to the channel. If you love talking college football like I do, I love talking college football. It is fun. I love paying attention to college football as a whole. I hope you'll subscribe. It is free, so it doesn't cost you a thing. If you like what I'm doing, I hope you'll do that. And then if you don't mind, pass it along in your forums, your team forums, among your buddies, your friends. I really do appreciate it. That helps me out, and it means a lot to me. So let's dive in. Let's start with the big games that you really, really care about. Let's get there. I'm going to start with Miami at Florida State. I know that I believe game day is going to be at the Vanderbilt Alabama game, and I get why. Had Florida State not lost to Virginia, game day would have had to be it. They had to be at this game. Am I right? I could be wrong. But Florida State just lost to Virginia, and Virginia put up a lot of points on them. The same Florida State team that drug Alabama, and then Alabama goes to Georgia and wins. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't have to make sense, folks. It's an eyebrow raiser. And if you're the type of person who wants to go out and bet on games, it should scare you. But you have Miami coming in at 4-0, undefeated, and a 4.5-point favorite in Tallahassee. Now, Florida State, to me, the story of this game is Florida State's defense. I want to see how Tony White's defense responds after absolutely getting embarrassed. And by the way, that was exactly what happened to them. They were embarrassed by a Virginia team who, by the way, already lost one game this year to North Carolina State. Now, I don't think that counts as a conference game towards their conference losses this year. I don't believe it does. But Florida State is sitting here going, hold on, whoa. What just happened? On the other hand, you have Carson Beck coming in. This guy's thrown for 972 yards. He's 82 of 112, 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And I know that in the offseason, there's a lot of things that went on. And at this point of the football season, there's a lot of football to play. But at this point of the football season, this will be game number 5 for both of them. Week 6 of college football. Carson Beck is looking pretty doggone good. Perfect? No. He's thrown 3 interceptions. But I have said this over and over. When Carson Beck is on, you've got a problem on your hands. Now, Castellanos is, he's passed 45 of 70, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. They scored a lot of points against Virginia. And if you score 38 points in all of your ball games, you're going to win probably 10 of them, at least, especially according to the schedule that you have. You want to take that in consideration. So I'm not worried about Florida State's offense. I think you're going to see production there. Flip back over to the Miami side of things. You got Mark Fletcher Jr. running back for them, 388 yards, 66 carries, 5 touchdowns. Versus Salchuk from Florida State, 234 yards off of 42 carries, 6 touchdowns. The wide receivers are really interesting. Malachi Toney, 22 receptions for 268 yards, a touchdown. Then on the other side, the Southern Cal transfer into Florida State, Deuce Robinson, tall guy. He's at like 6'6", 17 receptions for 346, 3 touchdowns. Again, I'm talking a lot about the offense. Where Miami has the edge, excuse me, where Miami has the edge is defense. Now, we know, and I'm going to pause here, we know that in the past few years, Cristobal's team, even with Cam Ward, even with Restrepo, those guys, things fell apart at the end of the season. Shouldn't have. I mean, but it did. I pause here. I really don't want to go heavy on Miami, but I don't want to punish them, make them pay for last year and the year before, right? There's that moment. The only pause I have there is Cristobal. And coaching matters. If you watch my other channel, especially, you know that I coaching does matter. There's a lot of teams that's had to find that out the hard way. But Miami, up to this point, their defense has done pretty well, except Notre Dame put up 24 points on them. And Notre Dame, though they were 0-2, I think they're now 2-2 now. They are 2-2 now. Notre Dame, it turns out they're not a bad football team. It turns out they're not a bad football team. So as I'm looking at this Miami and Florida State game, first thought that I have is that these two teams, it all comes down to defense. It really does. And right now, I believe the Miami Hurricanes, with guys like Reuben Bain Jr. and Akeem Messidor, I hope I said his name properly, the leading sack, the sack leader on the team. I see these guys being the difference. I see Miami's defense getting a stop. Now, Florida State comes up and starts stopping the football. It's anyone's game. It's anyone's game. But I think Miami's going to get the stop. I see the Seminoles winning this, or not the Seminoles. I see Miami winning this football game. Good grief, I got that twisted around. Coffee's not working. So let me know in the comment section how you feel about that. What do you see being the difference in the Florida State-Miami game? I see Miami winning this game because their defense is just stronger than Florida State's. We'll see if that's the case. All right, next up, we're going to take a look at the other game of the day, and it's really weird that it's the game of the day. At 3:30 on ABC, Vanderbilt travels to Alabama. 5-0, ranked number 16 in the country. Alabama is number 10. Their lone loss, say that fast, is to Florida State. Alabama is a 10.5-point favorite going into this game. But everybody's paying attention to one player. And oddly enough, it's not an Alabama player. It's Diego Pavia, a guy that's the leading passer, obviously, because he's quarterback for Vanderbilt, but the leading rusher for the team. He's passed for 1,211 yards, 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and he's rushed the ball 48 times for 294 yards and 2 touchdowns. And everyone is watching this. Everyone is watching this game because there's just that slight chance that Vanderbilt could, wait for it, kids, at 5-0. Normally it takes them an entire season just to try to get to 5 wins. They're already 5-0. To get to this point, they could actually win this game. Now, me as an outsider looking in, I'm not pulling for either team. What I mean by that is, I'm not part of either fan base. I'm watching this game because could they do it? Then Alabama having that really unbelievable performance. Ty Simpson took a lot of crap for that Florida State loss. But going into Georgia and snapping Georgia's home win streak is unbelievable. But to go in and do that and have the game that he had and look the way he did, now you step back and you go, there's no way that Vanderbilt beats Alabama. or is there? So that's a game that I'll be keeping my eyes on. I mean, the safe bet, if you're someone who wants to go with history and playing it safe, you definitely say Alabama in Tuscaloosa. You know, it just makes sense. Because other than Diego Pavia, who else is playing for Vanderbilt? Sure, you could say Miles Capers, the sack leader on the team, 3.5 sacks. You could talk about Eli Stowers, I think it is. It is Stowers. I'm pretty sure. You could talk about those guys, but everyone knows Vanderbilt right now for Diego Pavia. How will he perform? And even if he performs well, how does the rest of his team play? I mean, is the rest of his team going to come out there and match his intensity and his performance? If they do as a whole, he will win this game. But if it's Diego Pavia putting up a ton of yardage and even scores, but some of his teammates are playing well like they play for Vanderbilt, the historic Vanderbilt that's known for losing, incredible academic institution, but known for losing multiple games a year, you'd be looking at a loss. I think Alabama is going to take this ball game. Let me know what you think there. Now, there's some really interesting games after this that I'm just going to start with Friday night. And some of these games are going to be like, Brian, these are games I don't care about. But for football as a whole, could mean something. Friday night at 10:30, yeah. And now you know it's a West Coast game. West Virginia travels to Provo, Utah to play BYU. They're 4-0. Remember in the offseason, they had the whole issue with Jake Retzloff. They had lost a lot. They lost a lot of experienced starters for this team. But we knew that LJ Martin, the incredible running back for BYU, was back. They returned, I think 3 out of 5 offensive linemen. It wasn't like the cupboard was empty, but you lost a lot. And that team last year was pretty doggone good, you know. Bear Bachmeier comes in. He and his brother Tiger transfer in from Stanford. Bear Bachmeier's looking pretty doggone solid. BYU's a 19.5-point favorite over a West Virginia team led by former West Virginia coach, former Michigan coach, former Arizona coach, Rich Rodriguez. This is and one of the many rewinds that's going on right now in college football, where a coach goes back to his former team. And I just don't believe in West Virginia right now. I mean, they're 2-3, so that's kind of a dust statement. But they look like a team that has been thrown together, and they have to go into Provo to Lavelle Edwards Stadium. And BYU just seems to be pulling it together. They just seem to lock arms. They just seem like, hey, we lost guys. We also brought back guys not only like LJ Martin, we also brought back our leading receiver, Chase Roberts. And Bachmeier's playing his brains out right now. He's doing very well. 61 of 90, 6 touchdowns, 697 yards. They're balancing that with the run of LJ Martin. Their sack leader, Jack Kelly, already has 4 sacks on the season. He's the leading tackler, by the way, on the team. So BYU, all they have to do is play the game in front of them. That's it. And the game in front of them is against a team that's not that good, that was thrown together out of the transfer portal. And I get what Rich Rod is doing there. He did it with Jacksonville State and did quite well. But in West Virginia right now, they're going to have some patience. And I know that's not what they really want to have. This Saturday, I see BYU taking this game at home. I said this Saturday, this Friday, I see BYU taking this game at home over West Virginia. As I said, as of right now, they're a 19.5-point favorite. The line can move a little bit, but basically a 3-touchdown favorite. That's BYU. They're a 3-touchdown favorite, so I see them taking this game. Next up, let's take a look at a few other games. I'm going to speed up a little bit. We have Kentucky at Georgia Saturday, 12 o'clock on ABC. Georgia is a 20.5-point favorite coming into this game after the close loss to Alabama in a thriller. Everyone was bouncing between that game and Oregon at Penn State, and I know I was. In fact, I had 2 TVs set up to where I could watch multiple games at one time. Yes, it looked tacky, but it worked. Anyway, if this game were in Lexington, what would the spread be? It's not, but what would it be? Because we know what happened last year, and we know that Mark Stoops plays Kirby Smart pretty well. He may not win the game, but he'll absolutely make Kirby sweat for it. I see Georgia really taking control of this game. I think Gunnar Stockton, a guy's thrown for 851 yards, 5 touchdowns. He's coming into this game. He just lost at home. He was the first quarterback to lose at home in quite a while, right? Carson Beck didn't lose at home. And Stetson Bennett, he was the last one to lose at home back when he was flipping between other quarterbacks a long time ago. But it's been a long time. That's what I'm trying to say. It's been a long time since Georgia has lost at home. They just lost at home. Then I turned around. I saw Cutter Boley, Cutter Boley play against South Carolina. South Carolina beat the crap out of this kid. I mean, his O-line has to help him. They need to throw an extra blocker back there and make sure it's the best blocker. I don't care even if it's a running back or not. Even if it's telegraphing this is going to be a pass, you've got to at least give this kid a chance. They beat him into the ground. And I just see Georgia, if South Carolina can do that, and I know they have Dylan Stewart, I get that, but there's other players on the team. If they can do that, I can only imagine what Georgia would do between the hedges. In Sanford Stadium, I see Georgia winning this game big. I think they make a statement in this game. Hey, look, we lost to Alabama, but there's a lot to play for. It was a close football game. It was an epic game. It was one of the marquee matchups of the entire 2025 season. So a 3-point loss, yeah, it's annoying, but don't you dare take us lightly for 1 second. I think Georgia goes out and takes out some frustration on Kentucky. Next interesting game you may want to pay attention to. It's not that interesting to a point. You have Texas and Florida. Texas right now is still so overrated. They really are, okay? Texas is still so overrated. And Longhorn fans, if you're mad at me for saying that, okay, that's fine. My question is, who have you played? You played at Ohio State, a team who had a brand new quarterback just like you. You actually came into that game with more experienced starters back, and that was mostly on the defensive side of the team. And you lost. Well, we fast forward, you beat San Jose State, struggled with UTEP, and then destroyed Sam Houston. Now you go into a Florida team that is 1-3 and they're decimated. I don't know if Billy Napier would be fired if they lose to Texas. I don't know. Or if, yeah, I said that right. Texas at Florida. Texas is only a 6.5-point favorite. So either Vegas is playing us, which they could be, or they see what I see. I see a Texas team that does have talent. They have a really good coach, but Arch Manning is still yet to prove that he is the guy who's going to take Texas football to where it's supposed to be. And I don't blame him for that. His last name commands a lot of expectation, right? And I said this the other day. When he walks into one of his family events, his uncles are there, his grandfather is there. He's not even the third most important person in the room. when it comes to celebrity status. Other athletes, major D1 athletes, when they go to a family event, they are the unicorn in the room. They're the big star. Everybody gives them special treatment. Oh, did you hear that so-and-so's going to be here today? Oh, that's awesome. He's like the celebrity of the family. He's had so much success. We all wish we were like him. That's not the case with Arch Manning. And so I'm not dogging on him. I don't know him personally. He may be very humble. With that said, you should beat Florida, right? Like, Lagway hasn't looked good. He's thrown some ill-advised passes, and then he's thrown some passes that, I don't know. Florida just looks bad. You should beat Florida, right? Yeah, you should. It's like I'm trying to convince myself here. If you took number 9 out from in front of Texas, I would still say Texas wins. But again, Florida may get this one. I'm going to take Texas to be safe here, but I'm not overly confident in them. I'll put it that way. If I had to put money on a game this weekend, it's not this one. Next up, we have Boise State going to Notre Dame. Notre Dame starting off 0-2. They lost 2 games for a combined 4 points, if my memory serves me correct. And the teams that they lost to ended up being pretty good. That game could have went any way that you wanted. I mean, good grief, Notre Dame could have won both of them. But Notre Dame is now 2-2. They just beat the crap out of Arkansas, got Sam Pittman fired. Now Bobby Petrino's running the show again, another rewind in college football. But back to the subject here, Notre Dame, number 21 in the country, 3:30 on NBC Network, as it always is. Love their production, always looks good. It has I like it. Notre Dame's a 19.5-point favorite against a 3-1 Boise State team whose only loss is to South Florida, the very beginning of the year. They got drug. Now, I think Notre Dame CJ Carr is hitting on a lot right now. I think this guy is hitting his stride. He's thrown 2 interceptions, but he's thrown 104 passes, completed 71 of them, 1,091 yards. And then, of course, you have arguably one of the best running backs in all of college football, Jeremiah Love, 66 carries, 341 yards, 5 touchdowns. A lot of people are focusing on Jeremiah Love as well. So you're going to notice some of his numbers will probably be a little not as, he doesn't have as many yards as he probably would have had people, treat him the way they did last year. So I think more people are focusing a game plan on Jeremiah Love, trying to stop him. But he's still getting his. He's still doing it. Right off the top of my head, some head math here, over 5 yards per carry, 5 touchdowns. Give me that every day, all day. So the key in this game for Boise State to have a chance is they have to protect Maddox Madsen. They have to protect him. That's how South Florida beat them many weeks ago. All right. So right now, I just see Notre Dame being way too much. They have too much going for them. Again, they lost 2 ball games, one by 1 point, one by 3 points. And both of those teams have went on. They're both in I believe, the top 10. So Miami and Texas A&M. So I see Notre Dame winning this game. I won't say that they cover the 19.5 points, but I do believe that I believe that Notre Dame, I'm so sorry, I'm used to my Clemson channel. I do see Notre Dame taking this game because Carr is just hitting on a lot more than what people across the country realizes, unless you're paying attention to Notre Dame. I see Notre Dame winning this game handily. Get in the comment section real quick. Pavia made the statement that the goal of this year at Vandy is a national championship, and we all laughed. No one was laughing now. Vandy is trying to pull a Susan Boyle. It's good to see you, Rustastic. Everybody, hey, if you like what I'm doing, I hope you'll pass this along because that helps the channel grow, and I really appreciate it. Also, if you want to subscribe, Remember, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. If you'll pass it along to your friends and your neighbors, well, that's free too. All right, let's go back to the games. Now, we have a game that for anyone who is not part of a fan base whose team plays in the ACC, you're going to care less about this game. We have Virginia at Louisville this Saturday, 3:30 on ESPN2. And how the tide has changed. You have Virginia coming into this game 4-1, 2-0 in conference. Yes, they lost to NC State, but that did not count as a conference loss, believe it or not. Virginia is number 24. You have Louisville, a team who is 4-0, but they have struggled this season. They've struggled, almost lost to Pitt. Now, let me back up that statement. They struggled this season. Their first 3 ball games, they won 51-17, 28-14, 40-17. But when they finally played a team with a little bit more of a pulse, and James Madison actually played them quite well. That was the 28-14 game. They almost lost to Pittsburgh. They did not look good against Pittsburgh, and I was shocked that they came back and won that game. But here they are, 4-0, 1-0 in the ACC. Virginia coming off of that epic win against Florida State, outscoring Florida State. Florida State's, this was not a defensive game. It was an offensive game, 46-38. Again, I've never seen a field storm that fast. I know there's no barrier up there, and that's the reason the fans ran out on the field so fast. But still, that was nuts. But now they move on to this game, and the question is, ranked number 24, 4-1, coming off the win against Florida State, and you're going into a Louisville team that you know Brom can coach. Everyone knows Brom can coach. And if you don't know, let your team play him, and he'll beat you. It's kind of a weird thing. You find out the hard way. Is this stage too big for Virginia at this point? They haven't been on this stage in forever. In a very, very long time. Is it too big for them? Will they be too hyped up coming into this game against a Louisville team that they know should have lost to Pittsburgh? Now, Chandler Morris is like at his 3rd school. My memory serves me correct. Chandler Morris has passed for 1,279 yards coming into this game. And I want to correct that. He is on his 4th school. I wanted to look that up. He's on his 4th school. Chandler Morris comes into this game passing for 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. The guy can run. You have to account for his ability to take off. He's not Lamar Jackson, but good grief. He will make you pay, and you have to pay attention to him. And if you don't, then you're standing there going, how did they move the sticks again? Yeah, I know. Jeff Brom was really irritated with his quarterback play of Miller Moss last week. I saw it. You saw it. If you didn't see it, go back and watch. He was very irritated with Miller Moss. Threw a pick 6. I'm shocked that they got out of that game. Now, they do bring back their leading rusher from last year, Isaac Brown. He's carried the ball 33 times, 268 yards. That's a pretty good average. I mean, that's 7 to 8 yards per carry. So this guy is running the ball well. On the other side, you're staring down Jamari Taylor, 75 carries, 397 yards. This is a guy that walked on, I think, at North Carolina A&T, if my memory serves me correct. This guy, I mean, he's a really good story. He's rushed for almost 400 yards. I could talk about Rickert for Virginia or Lubin for Louisville, both sack leaders for their teams, 3.5 sacks each. I could talk about the quarterbacks and how they're going to put up yardage. I'm going to flip to the other side. Which defense wants this more? Which defense gets a stop? And then I will flip back to the offense. Which quarterback makes a mistake? This is a very tough game to call. I'm going to tell you this. Some games are like cut and dry, or some games you feel more confident, like calling that Alabama would beat Vanderbilt at home, in Tuscaloosa. You're not guaranteed, but you sure do feel good about it. This game, I don't feel good about it. And the reason I don't feel good about it, I don't feel good about it for Virginia because that was a highly emotional win. And they haven't been on this stage like this in the entire Tony Elliott era. On the other hand, we have Miller Moss, who 1 minute will look incredible, and the next minute he's throwing bad passes and the other team has the ball running the other way, scoring. So whichever quarterback doesn't make a mistake and whichever defense actually grabs said mistake that one of them does make, that's really the difference. I am going to go with, first off, this is a toss-up again. I'm going with Louisville on this game. It's at home. You have Jeff Brom. And I really believe in his coaching. I really, really do. Wouldn't be shocked if Virginia won, but I'm going with the Louisville Cardinals in this game. Next up, there's more games that's going on. Texas Tech 4-0 going into play Houston 4-0. Texas Tech's 11 or is 4-0 and ranked number 11 in the country at this point. 7 o'clock on ESPN. They play Houston. Texas Tech's 11.5 point favorite. They spent a ton of money that they've received. They can pay players like, well, a lot of teams can't. They have the oil money. Hey, and look, if you have it, you have it. They go in to play Houston in a very quiet game. It's not a very overwhelming game. If I'm Texas Tech, you need to be careful. You need to keep your eyes on the prize, because this is not like playing some top 10 matchup. But the other team is 4-0. No matter who they played, you need to keep your eyes on the prize, because this is a game that could undermine you. And remember, a loss is a loss. And you want to protect the win-loss column more than anything. In this game, I do see Texas Tech winning, but it could be such a sleeper that Texas Tech could lose. What I mean by a sleeper is Houston's not intimidating. You're not blown away by Houston. And that could lull you into a sense of ease, and we don't have to work for it. That's something that you want to be very, very careful about. Let's go in here. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at this is the last game I'll cover. Mississippi State at Texas A&M, going to College Station, 7:30 p.m. on the SEC Network. Texas A&M is a 14.5 point favorite going into this game. Who's the pressure on in this game? Really? Who has the pressure on them? It's A&M. And this past weekend, they beat Auburn 16-10, but we saw a frustrated Mike Elko in a press conference asking the press, why are you guys not happy? We just won. We just won. They're 4-0. We just won. I know he didn't, maybe he did say this and I didn't see the part of the clip, but I know we didn't beat them by a ton of points. We beat them 16-10, and yeah, it wasn't the perfect game, but we won. You're 4-0. That was the idea behind his statement. That was the meaning. It's like, y'all, we won. Mississippi State is 4-1 coming into this game, and Jeff Lebby in his second year just took Tennessee and Josh Heupel, his former boss at UCF and friend, took him down to the wire and could have beat Tennessee legitimately. Went to overtime with them. And Mississippi State let them hang around. And when you let a good football team who's supposed to win, let them hang around, that's how they get the W, even if it's by 1 point. The pressure is on Texas A&M. And where I pump the brakes right now with Mississippi State is that, yes, they did come off of that emotional loss at home, and now they go into College Station where it's going to be crazy. You know it's going to be crazy there. It's always crazy there unless they're terrible. Jeff Lebby has the ability to outcoach a good coach in this game because there's no pressure on Mississippi State. They've already lost a game. They've already won more games now than they did last year. I know that's not the goal for Coach Lebby, but if he drops this game and he wins 2 more and he becomes bowl eligible, this guy has done so much already, it's ridiculous. Mike Elko is getting grilled after winning. The only question I have is Mississippi State still replaying the Tennessee game in their head while they're standing on the field in College Station? That's a good question. Because if they are, Mike Elko will smell and taste the blood in the water, and he'll go. He'll go after them. He'll give the press something to really write about. A commanding win over a Mississippi State team that they're not the Mississippi State of old, at least not right now. Jeff Lebby has them playing different. They look extremely competitive, and if they're on your schedule and you're overlooking them, that's your bad. I feel that A&M is going to pull this out. I don't see a 14.5-point win. I see a 3 to 7 point win by A&M with Mississippi State. Very realistically, they very well could win this. Okay, they could win. They could definitely win this game. Mississippi State could pull this game out of the hat like that, and you come out going, "What just happened?" Whether they're actually that much improved. And let me tell you this, folks. Yes, they use the transfer portal, but those coaches know how to use the transfer portal players. And we divorce that too much, the transfer portal and coaching. And it's just like the ingredients when you're cooking something or baking something. If you're barbecuing, you're smoking, piece of meat. There's a way to do it. And just because you have an expensive piece of meat and an expensive grill doesn't mean you know what you're doing. Some coaches know how to use the portal and then coach them up. He's one of them. I see A&M taking this game, but I also see Mississippi State. They definitely could win this game and keeping it close. All right, folks. Well, I'm going to get in here to say hello real quick. Blair JS, Vandy will prove themselves over the next 4 games. They have only beat one decent team, South Carolina. If they lose 2 games, they will be out of the playoff for sure. Also, they have Tennessee at the end of the season. This is true. This is true. All right. Well, folks, listen, I hope you'll subscribe if you like what I'm doing. It's free, so not costing you anything, and I do appreciate it. Next up, you help me grow the channel. Hope you'll pass along to your friends, anyone who loves college football. Place it in your forum. Say, hey, this guy at the 15-minute mark was talking about our team. Drop it in there. Drop it on Facebook. Pass it around. Y'all, I do appreciate you. Take care of yourself, and I'll catch you next time.